Hi, good afternoon, everyone. This is Anish, and I'm here on behalf of the National Law Training Institute. Today, we have among us Varun, who cracked NLSAT recently and will now be joining the National Law School Bangalore to pursue law in the recently launched 3-year LLB program. So, there are very few NLUs, I think only Bangalore and Odisha that offer the 3-year program. And Varun is fortunate enough to join one of them, that too in India's best law school, that is the National Law School. So, Varun, I would love to hear from you about your background, like little bit of introduction from your end. What made you choose law? Why NLSAT? What have you done? Like what have you pursued before undergrad? So a little bit of information about you that would help the aspirants gauge around what is the general trend around NLSAT.
Thank you for the introduction. My name is Varun. I gave my finals for my graduation, BCom from Delhi University last week, and I'm from Rajasthan actually. And I was also pursuing CS. Still, I'm pursuing CS, company secretary. That is, and about why I choose law, it's kind of a long story. Uh, I first got interested in law and I think around eighth grade. Uh, but then one of my classmates came to know about that, and he told me that lawyers somehow get life threats and your life might be in danger. So, and I didn't know any better back then. So I dropped it, and 6 years later, I was working as a CS article in Noida for a practicing company secretary firm. Uh, and my boss asked me to go to the Bar Council of Delhi for filing a rejoinder to the rejoinder, if I recall correctly. Anyway, I went to the Bar Council and I saw a lot of lawyers, and they all looked rich. That's that was the primary motivation, and I also recalled that I actually wanted to do law before before even getting into high school. So I thought about that for a while, and I did not want to pursue any 5 year program because um, I was already in my second year of graduation and I don't
Right.
want to study till I'm 26 or something. So I searched about 3 year law programs um, and then I came to know about NLSAT and and a few others. So of course NLSI is the best one as far as I know. So I prepped for it and somehow got in. That
Right.
was for yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So
how
the
I
richness, the alleged richness in law attracted to it.
the primary motivator is money, and also I'm not good with practical stuff, maths and
Hmm.
the other things. Yes, I'm good at theory. I think I can memorize stuff pretty well, and I'd already studied so many fat books about law for CS, and so I
Hmm.
thought maybe I should give it a go. Yeah.
Right. So when did you start preparing for law, for the NLSAT exam? Was it in your final year, or you, like you just told me that you wanted to pursue law from quite a time? But what was that period when you actually started working towards it and actually started preparing for NLSAT?
Okay, so the first time I seriously thought about pursuing law was August last year. So I, but I also had some prior engagements with CS. So I had a
Hmm.
big examination in December. So I had to study for it all the time. So I gave thought about preparing for NLST in January. Yeah, in January this year. uh, until the end of December, I was giving some other exam. So, but in January also, I wasn't quite serious about it. I just looked at the previous year question paper and a little bit research on YouTube, but that was about it. I seriously started prepping for it in February, mid-Feb, you can say, second week of Feb. Yeah,
Right. So you prepared like sincerely for just 2-3 months, right? February, March,
yeah,
April.
February, March,
Right.
April. That's it.
Yeah. So in this period, how many mocks did you give? A total of like, yeah.
Um, Around seven, I think, 7 marks.
All right. So, like, based on your experience, what is the ideal number of mocks that a person should give who is sincerely or like diligently preparing for NLSAT?
I think 5 or 6 should be the minimum, because it's the pattern of the paper requires a lot of practice from your end, and then you have to set your own strategy. You need to try different approaches to attempting the mock, to finalize on what suits you the best, and giving marks is arguably the best way of doing that. And plus, Part B actually Part A also. The whole thing requires a lot of practice, and practice will only benefit you. There's no downside, so give as much as you can. But 5 to 6 should be the bare minimum, I think.
Right. So you started preparing in February, mid-Feb. So what did your routine or study schedule look like? How many hours did you put in for preparation, and what all did you prepare daily? Like, did you focus more on part A? Did you focus on part B? If part B, this will be covered later on. Also, I'll ask a specific question for the part B strategy. But what was your basic, like, an overview of the study routine? The number of hours you put in, what all did you prepare on a daily basis, and if you set any targets for some or something on those lines, like, I'll do these things today, I'll do these things in the week. So if your preparation was on that line, like, could you please share some light, a light on that? Yeah.
Yeah. Regarding schedule, I don't think I had a fixed schedule. I studied whenever I could. Uh, I could
Right.
study anytime. I was actually very, very free at the moment. Uh, but I didn't have any fixed schedule. So I took out time for current affairs. Uh, there were a lot of months to cover, so and various resources as well for current affairs. There are countless resources and YouTube videos and everything. And actually, I was not sure how to prepare for Part A and Part B, so I had to search for resources, and Part B resources were quite scarce as well.
Right.
Anyway, I studied around, I guess, 3 hours to 7 or 8 on a good day, but nothing more than that, and it's pretty doable as well. It doesn't require a fixed schedule because there isn't a lot of memorizing and stuff in this paper, but yeah, 3 hours to 7 hours should be fine. It was a
Right.
very flexible schedule.
So how did you manage between your college examination and this entrance exam? So you just told me you had examinations lately, so how did you manage both the things together?
Um, for college, I just studied as usual for every semester a day before my exam, maybe on the same day as well because the exams were scheduled in evening. So 4 to 5 hours, and you can get a decent GPA in college. That if your course is okay, not that difficult. That's
Right.
not much.
Got it. So yeah, now coming to a very specific question that a lot of aspirants would have. So what was your preparation strategy for part A? So for CLAT, we are taught critical reasoning, English, how to read, how to skim through passages. Also, like, we are given a lot of practice stuff also from GMAT, LSAT. So how was your preparation? Did it also revolve around GMAT, LSAT passages? What were your sources? And how did you improve your reading skills and comprehension abilities? So yeah, that is the question for you.
For Part A is mainly focused on your speed and capacity to understand and read
Yeah.
and analyze and stuff. So for Part A, I approached. Um, I searched around a bit, and then I got to know about Khan Academy, and it
Right.
has it has an abundance of resources for reading and comprehension and logical reasoning as well. But that's the reading part was essentially very very helpful for from Khan Academy, and they also had like 15 mocks for Part A, not exactly for NLSAT but for LSAT. But it's kind of the same thing.
Right.
Actually, LSAT ones are a bit harder, but uh, you'll get the gist. It's quite same. Anyway, so I almost exhausted the LSAT resources on Khan Academy, and there's literally so many passages to go around. It will easily take you a month, I think, if you want to exhaust them. Uh, sincerely. But anyway, for party, I did that, and then there are countless YouTube videos from very very good tutors of LSAT and GMAT and GRE and even CAT. So those also helped me with party reading and comprehension. Uh, but
Right.
uh, for expanding my vocabulary, even though it was made quite clear that you would not be asked questions specifically based on vocabulary like word meanings and antonyms and synonyms by the NLS faculty. But anyway, uh, expanding your vocabulary helps in expanding your span of comprehension, your scope of comprehension. So that's beneficial anyway. I read that book. What was it called? Word Power by Nominals.
Word
It's quite
validity.
decent.
Yeah.
Yeah, it teaches you about etymology and everything. So it
Yeah.
it's helpful. It looks intimidating, but it's not intimidating. It's you can finish it in a day or two. It's not a big deal. And
Yeah.
what else about current affairs? Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Uh, for current affairs, at first I started reading those IAS ones, monthly compilations, the Vision IAS ones, and Drishti IAS ones, and then YouTube videos as well. Then there was this book, quarterly compilations I found on Amazon. Disha publications or something, I don't know. Anyway, I bought like 4 quarters and I read them again and again. And for every month, I think I read them 4 to 5 times, the current affairs, and made my notes and everything. And then about NLTI also, you guys also gave us modules, so I went through those as well for revision and marking important topics. And for current affairs, it was about that. And newspaper also for like 2 months. You, I
Yeah.
started in February reading specifically the editorial and opinion pages of the Indian Express, and sometimes the Hindu. I don't like the Hindu; it's boring. But I like the Indian Express, so that was fun. I read it beginning from 15th February to till 30th or whatever day the exam was. So that was it about part.
All right. Thank you for that. So I'll move to the next question now. That is the preparation strategy for part B. As you yourself told that there is a scarcity of resources when it comes to part B. Every coaching, even we were clueless like which what all questions to give, what is the pattern that we can expect this year, how the marking should be, how the feedback to answer should be. So given all these things, coupled with like s- feelings of helplessness, hopelessness. So how did you manage your part B? How did you prepare for part B? What were your sources for part B, and like did you write essays? Did you get the essays checked by someone? How did you prepare for part B?
For part B, I mainly relied on previous year question paper and mocks. That's about it. Because
Yeah.
you cannot find those sort of questions anywhere else, or try to conjure up something by yourself. Um, See, I was told that you should try this. Take up one of those books by Clad books by Wiley or some Hardwaj or something, and then try to frame your own questions. But um,
Hmm.
I, either I'm not good at making questions myself, or the idea is stupid, or I don't know. But it didn't work for me, so I relied on mocks.
Hmm.
6 to 7 mocks, so there were around 40 plus questions. I guess that was enough. And part B is mainly about finding facts and
Yeah.
taking a position and answering based on those facts that why your point makes sense, and explaining in the answer in the given time period that your point is actually correct and feasible to hold. So for part B, I relied on mocks majorly, and even in mocks, the part that helped me was the feedback. uh, I was enrolled with NLTI, and you guys gave feedback for each and every answer, and that helped me in improving my writing. Because uh, see, in part B, what you have to do is explain your point, and if someone is giving you feedback that there were any lapses or any nuances that I forgot to include in my question, in my answer actually, about how can I prove my point in a better way. So that helped me a lot. Uh, and it and there were six mocks, so I improved with every mock, and and there were discussions as well with the members of NHI. About the essay part, I still am very bad at writing essays regarding the topics that are asked in the exam. Uh, I can write, I think, at a moderate level otherwise, but those topics don't resonate for me. I'm very bad at writing them. I still am, despite the mocks, despite my practice essays, and even in the actual exam, my essay was a total shit show, for lack of a better word. Uh, it was horrible. I couldn't even complete it due to lack of time. I think I might have scored like 5 out of 15, but rest of the part B went fairly
Yeah.
well. Um, the six questions, I think I answered three or four um, fairly well, and the others were average or slightly above average, I guess. Anyway,
Hmm.
that evened my score out, so I don't care. But I still suck at essays. I cannot give any tips on essays.
Right, makes sense, no problem. So yeah, we'll come to the penultimate question of this interview. So how did you approach your final examination day, the D day, the day from like which scares people a lot? Like everyone is scared of the approaching the NLSAT day, going there to the center, giving the exam, the feeling of anxiety, panic, stress. How did you manage everything? What people suggest is just take the final exam as another mock and give it with the same mentality. But how was it for you? Did you also feel the same way like others do, stressed, panic, at, anxiety, all these things? How did you manage your final NLSAT day?
About anxiety, ever since I finished school, I've been giving a lot of exams, and I was sort of used to it, but not completely. And
Hmm.
it was a big deal giving an entrance exam. It was my first entrance as well, so anyway, I tried to sleep, but I was sleep deprived anyway in the morning. Then then certain things also went wrong. Like I was in the shower, I ran out of water, and I was making breakfast, and I spilled my breakfast. Anyway, you should not let these tiny things get in your
Yeah.
way. Just take it all in and soldier on to the exam center. Prepare in advance for your water bottle and everything, your watch and admit card, and all the stuff you need to take it in advance,
Yeah.
and try to remain calm. And about studying right before exam, there's nothing to memorize. Uh, so you can look up at current affairs if you want. Outside the exam center, actually, I remembered something about an organization being banned for under the UAP Act or anything else. So I googled it, and I wasn't aware of it, and it actually came in the exam. So that was it. When anyway, do whatever you want to do, but try to remain calm and don't overthink about it. There are a
Yeah.
lot of universities that you might get in, but anyway, try to give your best attempt and don't let tiny stuff get on your nerves. Reach the exam center well in time, book your cab in advance and everything. Um, just try to make your journey to the center as easy, as simple and easy as you can, to avoid any unnecessary jitters before the exam.
Right.
And on the exam as well, while giving part A, uh, uh, the passages were fairly simple, but anyway, in the mocks, you could just give them seamlessly. You were not thinking about anything else. But in the actual exam,
Yeah.
this thing happened. I was reading passages, and in the middle of the passage, I was like, "Oh my God, this is really happening? Am I actually in an exam?" Finally? So that throws you off your track a bit. But try not to do that. It might happen anyway. But just deal with it, soldier on and everything.
Right. So one last question from you. So how did NLTI help you in your preparation? You already talked about the mock test series, but apart from that, we had the mentors took regular sessions, the discussion that happened in the group, the feedback, the scoring of your answers. So everything come like taken together, how did we help you? How did NLTI help you? And would you recommend future aspirants to enroll with NLTI's new course that will be launched in due course for the NLSAT 24 exam?
I would definitely recommend NLTI to the future aspirants. Uh, how it helped me, primarily the mocks, I talked about it earlier also,
Yeah.
but I would like to emphasize on it again. The mocks were quite, what can I say, closely formulated to the actual thing, and, and that certainly helped me a lot, and it helped me in making my strategy and the sessions with the people who got into NLS previous year by giving the same exam. They were very helpful. They gave us their insights, which we could not conceive of by ourselves, and tips and tricks as well in attempting the exam, and all the nuances that are associated with the exam, because they had already gone through it a year ago. Um, so that was essentially very helpful, and the feedbacks on the marks, those were certainly helpful, and the GK modules too. For revision, they provided a fairly detailed yet brief overview of the important current affairs, but and also you guys gave an important list of essays, probable topics that might have come up in the exam. Um, Again, I would not like to talk about essays. Anyway, they were also helpful.
Yeah.
Um and part A discussions, how to go about with your reasoning and stuff. It was all very helpful. And part B, I solely relied on the mocks and the discussions and the mentorship sessions. So in that way, NVIDIA helped me a lot in my preparation, and hence I would recommend it to every aspirant for next year.
Right. Thank you so much for that, Varun. Thank you so much for taking out time and joining us for this session. I really look forward to seeing you on NLS campus in next 1 month.
Thank you.
See you. Bye bye. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for joining in. I hope this session was useful. We'll bring more such sessions in the future to help you guys prepare your strategy for NLSAT at the very nascent stage. Thank you so much. Thank you, Varun.
Thank you.